Welcome to the City Manager's Report. The City Manager's Report is your preview of the next Oshkosh Common Council meeting agenda and an update from your Oshkosh City Manager. Your hosts, Emily Mikowski of Oshkosh Community Media and City Manager Mark Roloff.
Thank you for joining us on your City Manager's Report, your source for updates on all the hottest and local topics here in Oshkosh, as well as a preview for the upcoming City Council meeting agenda for this Tuesday, March 24th, 2015. I'm your host, Emily Mikowski, joined as always by your City Manager, Mark Roloff. Thanks for joining us today, Mark.
Great to be here, Emily.
So we're going to go ahead and dive into our hot topics for the first half of today's show. We'll take a little break as we do, and then return with a review of the council meeting agenda, again for Tuesday, March 24th. So Mark, first thing that we want to talk about is something that happened pretty recently, March 12th actually. It was the brand kickoff for the Greater Oshkosh Economic Development Corporation. And you were there that morning for that breakfast. How did it go?
It was really exciting. The brand launch was really intended to put a new face and logo on Go EDC, which is still a very new organization, but it was the original logo was just really kind of thrown together.
Right.
We had a marketing firm that helped us develop it, and we launched it with a group of our investors and other people who are very interested in improving economic development in the community. Mm-hmm. So we're very excited that we had probably close to 250 people at this event, so that was very exciting. And as part of that event, we also introduced our new executive director,
yes,
who's going to be starting on April 13th. And we also talked about some of the fundraising that's taken place to date. As a matter of fact, our private sector investors have invested nearly $900,000 in Go EDC for the first 3-year period that we're looking at. And
it's amazing.
Yeah, it really is. And so our board of directors wanted to make that announcement, and that nearly $900,000 does not count the $500,000 that's been put forward by the public sector, which is primarily the city and the county, county's allocation to the city for their economic development dollars. Mm-hmm. So all told, we have about $1.4 million raised, and our goal is $1.8 million, so we're well on our way to get this going. And there's our new logo, a little more on the Greater Oshkosh, mm-hmm. To really talk about this as a regional type of initiative that we're doing. But you know, Go Oshkosh has that zing to it. But Greater Oshkosh, this is our new webpage, our whole new model that we want to talk about. But it is a truly collaborative effort between the public and the private sector to advance economic development. Our new executive director, Jason White, takes over on April 13th. And then they're going to start meeting with a lot of the people that are in this room to engage them about what's important to them, what they need to improve business for them, whether it's workforce related, which is actually the bigger issue. Improving the number of jobs, our unemployment rate is going down, so really we need to do talent development to attract people to our area as well as retain employees as well as employers.
So you got a lot of goals up coming in the next year or two, or beyond that too. But really, it just goes to show that you're telling us the $900,000 it was from the private sector. It's just amazing how both the public and private have come together to create such a great thing. And you can just tell at this event the excitement was contagious.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. So really looking forward to great things from Go EDC. Another thing that happened pretty recently, actually the last day that there was a council meeting, was the council tour of the field operations facility. That was on March 10th. Now, that was their chance to kind of get the latest and greatest of the field operations facility, which is not quite yet completed, but we're hoping for an open house towards the end of April.
We are. The main portion of the facility is 98% done. Mm-hmm. The only thing that remains to be done are some of the outbuildings, and the council hadn't formally been in there in a year when we were getting close to halfway being done. So everybody's moved in. And so we wanted to show off how we are starting to use the facility. The maintenance bays are probably the biggest ones because that was the one area where efficiency was at its lowest. And this portion of the operations facility is really going to improve our ability to to maintain vehicles, get them in, get them out. The whole idea is you want vehicles out on the street working for the public, and so we wanted to show that. So I'd say most of the council members were there. We actually had a member of the county board, Ken Roble, who worked for the city from 1946 till 1989. So
who has seen it all.
Who's seen it all. He saw the entire life of this building. This area they're showing there is the mezzanine level. It's empty, but that's because that's where we're going to be storing all of our snowplow blades. We've got a lift that'll take it up there and then get them out of the way, so we're not driving around them for the 7 months of the year that we're not using them. Makes a lot more sense to move it. So we showed each part of the facility, explained how it works, why this part of the facility exists, how it improves efficiency, and then of course we had to take them over to the refuse facility, which is never pretty, but it's very important. So Kevin Ewan, our field operations superintendent, explained all the areas. For example, this one is where our automated wash bay is going to go. This is the only part of the building that wasn't done, and so we're explaining how we're going to get that accomplished over the next year. And within the next year, then we'll put all the final touches on it, and we will be totally complete and moved in.
Yes, it's very exciting, and this video just shows how huge the place is. And we were joking before the show about how a lot of people are saying, compared to the old Central Garage, it's just like the Taj Mahal here.
And you hear that term a lot. And so I heard another joke, and I'm not going to try to apologize, because our old facility was in poor shape. And instead of the Taj Mahal, I've heard the term Garage Mahal.
Yes, I love that term.
And it's it's okay. I'm willing to laugh at ourselves a little bit, but when you see the work that we were doing in our old facility and how inefficient it was, we really did need a new facility. And it wasn't because it's bright and new and big. It is all of those things, right. But new and big means that we can use new technologies, and bigger means that we can negotiate our trucks through this facility a lot easier, and we get simple things like oil changes done in 15 minutes rather than a couple hours. And those efficiencies, they add up, and that's saving money for the taxpayer, and that's what I'm most excited about.
Yes, really streamlining that process. Now, the video that you just saw is great video, and we also had gotten some video prior to that. I got to take a tour with Kevin Ewan before that, and we recorded it, packaged it into an episode of Your City at Work, and we have some exciting news that we actually won an award for that episode, Mark, from the Wisconsin Community Media Awards. It's an annual Video Fest contest, and this is a clip from the program. They really liked it. They thought the video was great, and we are being honored with an award of excellence. So we're very excited about that.
Well, the programs that we have, Your City at Work, they help explain what we're doing, because it demystifies a lot of what we're doing.
It really does. And that kind of humanizes it a little bit. And
the public deserves to know about some of the things we're doing. And there it is. It costs $19 million. That's a lot of money. And the public needs to know that that's being put to good work. So I love the Your City at Work segments, and I think OCMS staff deserve a lot of credit. So I'll say it instead of you having to plug your own self. But we're very pleased that we're able to communicate things like our Public Works Garage to the public.
Yes, and things like recycling, which was another award of excellence we got from Your City at Work, as well as one of our episodes of Oshkosh Today, which was actually our Christmas special. And we can't go without mentioning another award that we won. Not an award of excellence, kind of the silver medal, an award of achievement, and that was for our City Manager's Report, Top 10 of 2014. So I have to congratulate you as well, Mark.
Well, we'll accept the silver with knowing that we got so many great programming on OCMS. We'll take the silver, and we have a lot of fun doing the Top 10 show.
Do.
It's a lot of work for Andy and Scott behind the scenes, all the editing that gets done.
A lot of video.
And we just get to pat ourselves on the back for a lot of the great accomplishments we do, but it's good that the public knows about those things.
Yes, so we're very excited about that. Another thing people are very also excited about is the Oshkosh Police Department has recently, just a few days ago, started putting out something called the Blue Chronicle. And this is kind of like a newsletter. It goes out every day, and it's a little more detailed version of the police blotter.
I think the idea is numerous. Part of it is engaging the public, because it's not just a matter that we're putting out a newsletter. That actually sounds almost dull, but what they're doing with the newsletter is encouraging people to give feedback, and that's where the magic works in law enforcement, because we only have so many people in our police department, but they can use communication devices with the public to give them feedback and help the police department solve crimes. The feedback we get from the public is so crucial to our success. And we get a lot of requests from residents and the media about what's going on. This is one way for us to feed that information to them.
Keep that transparency in city government that people, they crave. And, you know, like I said, the blotter, it's very vague and, you know, not very detailed. So this kind of gives, you know, like you said, a lot of requests come in for more details on that, and people might see something in their neighborhood and be able to keep an eye out and be able to report something on that.
Anytime somebody sees something, they may just take it for granted that, oh, that's easily explainable. But when they see something like the Blue Chronicle, it puts some of these things in the context. And then somebody says, well, wait a minute, maybe I do know something that I can share with the police department. And they do that. So we're very excited that the public, we're already getting really good responses, and it's only been out for a few days. And it sounds like a simple newsletter, but we use social media to promote it. People are looking at our social media sites and just trading information, and that's the beauty of this.
Yes, so check out the Oshkosh Police Department's Facebook or Twitter or even their website. They've got the Blue Chronicle up there right now. And they're even kind of trying to find some fun stories or some funny stories that you might be able to look out for as well. So Mark, next thing we want to talk about is absentee voting. It's coming up, the election, and the clerk's office, it looks like they had mailed out about 700 absentee ballots for the spring election. That was on March 17th a few days ago. So early voting is going to be starting March 23rd through April 3rd.
Of course, election day is April 7th. That's the big thing we want people to know about. And we want them to know that you can do early voting if you're not going to be gone. It's spring break for Oshkosh area schools on the week of April 7th. So a lot of folks won't be around. So it's important that they can vote if at all possible. So stop by the clerk's office, give us a call. You can do early voting. You can do absentee voting. You can request an absentee ballot to be mailed to you right now. You won't get it mailed out until the 23rd, but the 23rd is right around the corner, so you'll get it very quickly if you make that request.
Yes.
One of the interesting things, though, is look at the lines here at City Hall for early voting. You're certainly welcome to do early voting, but the reality is that you've got every ward in the city coming to do early voting. It's still really, really convenient to vote on election day.
It is. It's less of a wait, I would say.
Oh, absolutely.
You're not competing with the whole city.
It's generally closer to your house. It's just that you got to remember it's on a Tuesday. So if you can remember for it to do it regular voting, it's really more convenient and quicker for you. But if you're out of town or you know you're not going to make it to the polls for whatever reason and you want to do early voting, we encourage you to do it. And give the city clerk's office a call and we'll help you.
Yes, and so March 23rd through April 3rd, which is Good Friday, the clerk's office will be open on Good Friday, so you don't have to worry about us being closed if you try and show up and do your absentee ballot. You can find samples of the ballot along with information for voters to locate their polling site on our city website under the clerk's department, or you can just give the clerk's office a call. So Mark, the last thing that we want to do is get one more plug in. It's coming up. It's only a few days away. That's State of the City. We are in full-on crunch mode right now here in Media Services, but we're really excited about it.
I'm excited too. You know, we know what the program is yet.
We do.
But
and it's hard to keep it under wraps for so long.
It is, but you know, State of City, Monday, March 23rd, 6 p.m. at the Convention Center. Our City Exhibit Expo, which is really a great opportunity to talk to department heads, to talk to city staff about just so many things that are going on in the community that too numerous to mention. But we talk about some of the great accomplishments we're doing, the partnerships we're doing, and some of our goals for the coming year. We're going to talk about our strategic plan. We're going to talk about some of our projects for the year. But it's that interaction that we have that gets so exciting. So you'll learn a lot about the city, and I encourage people to come. And if you can't, we'll be taping it by the time some people view this. It may already be passed, but we'll have it on OCMS.
It'll all be available on the website, on our YouTube channel, and eventually too on City Cable 10. So again, Monday, March 23rd, we hope to see everybody there for the State of the City, and your address will be starting at 6:30. So really looking forward to that as well. So it's that time of the show where viewers have the chance to ask their city manager anything they want about things going on here in Oshkosh. So let's go ahead and take a look at what the question mark is this week. right, Mark, so the question this week is, when will the new recycling refuse calendar be distributed to residents? And it's kind of a timely one with the seasons changing, everybody's starting to do their spring cleaning and things like that.
Yeah, so whoever asked the question must have been getting antsy about when are we going to see the calendar, because when we got the question, we called our sanitation superintendent, Jim Hintz, and he said, we're going to be mailing them out any day now. So for those of you who rely on that, rather than looking out and seeing if your neighbor's done it yet, who's going to be first to put it out? The week of March 23rd, for sure, we're going to get them mailed out.
Yes.
So you should be getting them very shortly, and then you won't have to be looking to see what your neighbors are doing. You'll know that it's we've got a reliable schedule out there for you.
Yes, and if you do have a question too, that information is on the website as well. If you just go under departments, Public Works, Sanitation, it's one of the first links on there that you can find it. So right there for you. So great question this week. Thanks for the answer, Mark. If you'd like to send a question to Mark, you can email it to questionmark@ci.oshkosh.wi.us, and he'll answer it on the next episode of City Manager's Report. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll dive into the City Council meeting agenda for this Tuesday, March 24th. We'll be right back on City Manager's Report.
Want to know what's happening in local government? Stay in the know with City of Oshkosh government meetings, live on TV, City Cable 10, online at oshkoshcommunitymedia.org, and on community radio WOCT 101.9 FM. Miss the live coverage? No problem. Catch replays on City Cable 10. Stream online from oshkoshcommunitymedia.org or visit youtube.com/Oshkosh Community Media Services.
Hi, I'm City Manager Mark Roloff. In the last few years, we've seen Oshkosh grow in so many ways, and in 2015, I know we can continue to prosper. Join me Monday, March 23rd at the Convention Center for the annual State of the City Address and City Exhibit Expo. Doors open at 6 p.m., with the State of the City being delivered at 6:30. Following the presentation, we'll honor some standout community members and then close out the night with the Expo, where you can go one-on-one with city staff. Monday, March 23rd, Convention Center. Be there and be involved in your community.
Welcome back to your City Manager's Report. Thanks again for joining us. I'm here with City Manager Mark Roloff, and we're going to go ahead and get right into the council meeting agenda for March 24th, 2014. So Mark, first item we want to talk about is an award bid for Public Works, and that's for some paving and utility projects. This is for some of the first street projects that are coming up this year.
Our first two really big street projects are on the agenda. The first one's Parkway, East Parkway from Main Street east over nearly to Bowen, and in Mount Vernon Street, which is the sewers there are in terrible shape, and we've got to get that done as well. So that's the first one, and then the second one is the projects over on New York Avenue and Custer Avenue. It's from, I believe, just east of Elmwood. Elmwood was done a couple years ago over in that area, and all the way over to Wisconsin Avenue. If you've driven New York, you know, pretty rough shape. So,
some people avoid New York for that reason.
Yes, well, but you'll be singing New York, New York by the end of the summer, because we're going to get that one done. And of course, it's always about, it's not just the street, it's everything underneath.
Right.
We talk about that all the time, and the sanitary sewer on Mount Vernon is in horrid condition, imminent failure. It's that bad. And then in the other streets are also, a lot of the storm sewer underneath is really bad. Still 100-year-old storm sewers that we're talking about that need to get replaced. So we're very excited. That's an investment of nearly $9 million when all is said and done. So it's very important that we get these projects done.
Yes, and it's important to note, people look at those numbers and they're like, holy cow, what the heck, just for a street? But like you said, people need to know it's not just the street, it's a lot of stuff going on underneath there. So very good information there. Mark, our next item that we want to talk about is another award bid for Public Works contract, and this is for the field operations facility. Now, this is for phase 3. What's going on with this one?
These are all the outbuildings. The main building that you saw earlier in the show
Yes.
is pretty much done, but the salt shed and some of the other cold storage buildings where we don't need to necessarily keep things heated there, those buildings are getting done in the third phase, plus some equipment that didn't need to get installed with the building. Part of the reason we did it this way was really cash flow. We couldn't support the entire project over one fiscal year or even 2 fiscal years, so we stretched it out over 3. The good news is that we're going to get it done. The not so good news is that because we stretched it out over a couple years, the numbers that we put together in 2013, inflation catches up with us. So it's a little bit over budget, but we've got a way to pay for it within budget by juggling around some projects that we have planned for this year. We might have to put some back, but we felt it was necessary to get that done. But it's still very important that we got it done, and we'll stay within our overall budget, even though the project budget is going to need to get tweaked a little bit, as much as $500,000 by the time everything's said and done. And that's on the conservative side, so
Okay.
no more than that.
So with these budget concerns, we're staying within our budget, but is that, you said something about the time frame. Is that going to affect the time frame as far as when this phase will be getting done then? It'll be elongated a little bit?
Well, not anymore. This will prevent us from
Okay.
stretching out anymore. We might need a couple pieces of equipment that we're deferring into the following fiscal year, but that's equipment. That's not the building itself.
Right.
It's little things like some equipment, some lift equipment, and things like that.
Okay, great to know. Mark, our next item here is an approval of an amended special event. Now, we had talked about this a few weeks ago, actually, for the 4th of July parade. There was a little bit of a conflict with the farmers market, so the 4th of July parade was going to be moving to a different street, and now it's moving to another street. Tell us about that one.
Well, originally, the 4th of July, we've always had the parade. It's been a wonderful event. But now with the farmers market and July 4th being on a Saturday, there's a conflict. And the parade group has been so accommodating. They agreed to move it off of Main Street. So we're doing what we did back in 2010 when Main Street was getting reconstructed. They're moving over to Bowen Street, and this video is from Bowen Street in 2010. So it does work. It's a little different, and it brings a lot of people out, regardless of where it is. But Bowen Street's a good street that will be able to accommodate that very well. It's deeper into a residential area, so it's going to be pretty convenient for anybody on the east side. But also, if you want to come from the west side, not a problem. You'll be able to get there very easily. Parking on some of the side streets, some of the churches in the area, I think you'll be able to get to park pretty easily.
Great. So hopefully won't be causing too much, of plan changes. But like you said, it's great how accommodating the Vietnam Veterans of America have been in the planning of the 4th of July parade.
My advice is hike a little bit, park downtown, walk over to Bowen, and then walk back and go to the farmers market.
Perfect.
That's my recipe for the 4th of July.
So we know where you'll be on the 4th of July then.
You got it.
Mark, our next item we want to talk about is a new ordinance to approve temporary suspension of bicycle registration fees. Now, this is for April 1st to May 20th. What's behind this free registration process?
Well, a couple things. First, the Bike and Pedestrian Committee really wants to encourage people to ride bikes. And I don't think people make a big decision on that based on the bike registration fee, but it's a few dollars, and maybe it discourages people from maybe registering your bike. The police department really wants to see people register their bikes, because when bikes get lost or misplaced, or unfortunately every once in a while stolen, how do you find it? If with a registration, the police department can look up that number and they can call you right away and pick it up. I can tell you, I've seen the property room at the police department. We got a lot of orphan bikes, and if you register, you're going to get your bike back that much quicker. In fact, if you have a missing bike, you may want to check with the PD and see if your bike isn't waiting for its return to you. But registration makes it so much simpler. So we just want to encourage people to take this window of opportunity to get your bike registered, and then you're covered in case some event happens.
You've got nothing to lose. Well, besides your bike, but if you lose your bike,
there you go.
You don't have to worry about having to pay for the registration. And I remember talking with a police officer once saying that, a lot of the stolen bikes actually end up getting ditched somewhere. That's why the police department has so many of them. And so just to register them, it's just that one extra little thing that you can do. Mark, another item that we want to talk about here is an award bid for Public Works contract, and this is for Boatworks. This is dealing with the Boatworks Riverwalk parking lot as well as the Riverside parking lot. Now, tell us a little bit about each of these projects.
Well, two projects getting bid on at the same time in one package. Then we
Yes.
think we're going to get some efficiencies. Boatworks is part of the trail on the south side of the river, the Boatworks property there. This is video from last year where we installed the bridges to hop over the islands of that one marina, as well as using the old rail archways. We moved them over there, and this is continuing that project, but this is the parking lot portion of it. We were funded some grant money to do a park shelter as well as the parking lot over there, so families can go if they just want to check out the bridge, because it's not connected going east any farther than this.
Not quite yet.
Not yet, but this will give you an opportunity if you want to check it out. The view from that bridge is going to be incredible. So the parking lot will be there. For Riverside Park, it's a different situation. You know, we did a portion of Riverside Park parking lot last year, that the second part of it really needs to get done. But the main reason we want to move this up, this was not planned for 2015, but there's so much growth going on in the city center office complex, primarily for 4imprint, that they're kind of bursting at the seams from a parking standpoint. So we need to increase some space. Now, Riverside Park isn't intended for city center, but we need to clear out some space so that the convention center can make more use of it.
Yes.
And then we can maybe use the CP lot and some other surrounding lots. So it's just the domino effect, and we want to move up Riverside Park parking lot. Staff's figured out a creative way to pay for it. I'm very proud of our staff that comes up with these ideas, even when they're not budgeted. We can figure out a way to budget for it and then figure it out later on. But Riverside Park is in very rough shape.
It is, and you can really tell the difference because the nice new one is right next to it. But this item here, it's kind of supercharged. You said that you're really pushing to get this done soon because you don't want it to interfere with any kind of special events. Because for Waterfest and things like that, a lot of people do take advantage of that lot. Right,
the Waterfest series starts on June 18th. The way we've written this contract is that it will be done by June 9th in time for the wedding reception season and Waterfest and everybody coming down. But that's what the new lot looks like, and that's what you want. That's what we want the other lot to look like, because you can see the contrast just go from one to the next, and it is literally a night and day situation. So it's in desperate need, and we need it to help 4imprint, which is expanding, increasing jobs, hiring people as we speak. So we want to be able to help them remain in the downtown, and parking is a big part of that.
Yes, well, looking forward to a nice new parking lot. One other question is going back to the Boatworks. What's the schedule on that? We saw the beautiful footage of it from last October, but when are we hoping for completion on that?
Boatworks, we're planning to get done by the end of the summer. I think it'll get done earlier, to be honest with you, but we're moving it ahead.
Great. We're going to squeeze one more item in here, Mark, really quickly. Is another new resolution is for some more parking lot improvements over at the Senior Center.
Another parking lot project. There's actually three portions of the Senior Center lot. This is the one that as you exit the south building of the Senior Center, that's in pretty rough shape, and it also serves as the boat launch parking lot as well. We're going to get that portion done this year within our parking lot budget. So we got a lot of parking lot projects going on.
A lot of parking lot stuff coming up this summer, and we're looking forward to it. I think it's going to benefit a lot of people. So that's going to do it for this episode of City Manager's Report. Mark, thanks again, as always, for joining us today.
Oh, happy to.
Again, the City Council meeting is this Tuesday, March 24th at 6 p.m. You can watch it live on City Cable 10 and on our website at oshkoshcommunitymedia.org, or listen to it at 101.9 WOCT, which is also on our website. Make sure to like us on Facebook or follow us on Twitter for all your community and government programming and updates, or check out our YouTube channel for past episodes of your favorite programs. Don't forget, if you have a question for Mark, send it to questionmark@ci.oshkosh.wi.us. Thanks again for joining us on your City Manager's Report, and we'll see you next time.